The light in your life is killing you. The way you consume photons is profoundly different to the way your ancestors consumed photons. Today, we all know the basics of a healthy life, right? Eat some good food, drink some clean water, breathe some clean air, and get some exercise, and you'll be all right. But the thing that most of us don't know and don't understand is that light belongs on this list. And it's not just light, but the right light at the right time. Light is a core pillar of health. But what do I mean when I talk about the right light? Let's take a look at our environment, planet Earth, this pale blue dot that we've been talking about today. It's not just pale blue, it's also rotating. Rotates approximately once every 24 hours, and this causes the rising and setting of the sun, which in turn drives profound changes in our environment. During the day, we may see as much as 100,000 lux, and at night, as little as 1/10,000th of a lux. That's a range of 9 orders of magnitude. We see dramatic temperature changes. You can see as much as 40 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 20 Celsius, between night and day. Weather patterns can change. You can have storms that come in the afternoon. You can have all manner of other things that present opportunities and threats. Plants and animals can change their behavior. If you're a predator, you may hunt when prey is active, but if you are prey, you don't want to do that. So there's an arms race. And all things on Earth have adapted to deal with this. These are our circadian rhythms. In humans, these circadian rhythms manifest as things like sleeping at night, variation in our core body temperature, and a whole bunch of other things. These things are adaptations to our environment. They are things that are done in anticipation of the changes rather than in response to changes in our environment. In humans, the heart of the circadian rhythm is found in this small piece of the brain called the SCN. It's a cluster of roughly 20,000 neurons that oscillates every 24 hours. It acts as a master body clock, and it broadcasts a signal to our body via the autonomic nervous system and via various hormonal pathways to let us know what time it is. It doesn't know what time it is intrinsically, but it is trying to constantly understand from the outside world what is going on. And the single most important input to the timekeeping ability of the SCN is light entering the eye, and that's specifically blue light. So what happens in the eye? We all know about seeing, right? Light enters the eye, it's detected by our cones and our rods, and this gives us color vision and night vision. But recently, about 20 years ago, another set of cells was discovered in the retina called the intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. These cells are sensitive to light, but they do not contribute to our ability to see. They don't form vision. They simply pass a signal to the SCN and a few other bits of the brain to tell us whether it is light or dark outside. Light is one of many Zeitgebers. Zeitgeber just means time giver. This is a signal from the outside world that tells our body what's going on. We also get signals from food, when we eat, when we're active, and some social cues. In our ancestral days, these signals all agreed with each other, and we had a lot of internal synchrony. Today, we don't so much. In the human body, we see rhythms in core body temperature, blood pressure, resting heart rate. The size of our eyeball even changes. You can go out and measure the length of somebody's eyeball, and you can plot a nice sinusoidal variation over the 24-hour period of the day. And one of the most profound of these variations is our melatonin cycle. At night, we produce a lot of melatonin. During the day, it falls to 0 in our blood. We do not produce any. Okay, so what? Why should you care about any of this? Well, our ancestors lived in a world where they spent their time outside. It was dark at night. They had long, dark nights, followed by a very quick transition that we call dawn into a bright day. Today, we don't do that. We spend our time indoors. On average, 94% of time is spent indoors. So we have nights that are short. We have days that are stuck in that twilight zone between under artificial light, right? It's not as bright as the sun. And then maybe we do have a little bit of time outside, but it's whenever we take a walk, take the dog for a walk, whatever. It's not a consistent time signal. So today, our bodies are constantly surrounded by an environment where we don't know whether it is day or night, and it's this perpetual twilight. This causes circadian dysynchrony. Circadian dysynchrony has been linked with a huge range of conditions. Cancer is a very well-known one at the moment. There's a very strong link between night shift work and breast cancer. But there's links to a huge range of diseases, right? We've got obesity, we've got a whole range of other metabolic diseases like diabetes. There are a lot of mental health related things like depression and anxiety. There are attention related issues. There are fertility issues. There are diseases like degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. These things are all linked to, meaning maybe they're caused by, maybe they're exacerbated by disrupted circadian rhythms. So what should you do about this? Circadian rhythms are not complicated. If you go outside and live your life outside, your body will just take care of it. But that's really not what most of us do. It's just not practical. We want to be comfortable, it's cold outside. We want to be warm. We have a job that means we need to sit at a desk. We like to sleep in a bed. Maybe we enjoy watching the TV. There's a whole bunch of reasons that we're not sitting outside. So what can we do? Let's break our day into 3 chunks so that we can get ready to introduce some ideas on how to entrain our circadian rhythms. We have 3 periods of the day: day, evening, and nighttime. These are the key things that are important to your circadian rhythm. For daytime, we're talking about bright light. For evening, we're talking about dim light. And for nighttime, we're talking about darkness. But what do I mean by those things? So a paper came out last year that gave some really good concrete values for that. So for daytime, we want to be above 275 melanopic lux. In the evening, we want to be below 11, and at night, we want to be below 1. But what is melanopic lux? Melanopic lux is a measure of brightness as seen by the circadian system, which is different to brightness as seen by the visual system. There is a relationship that's defined by the spectral power distribution associated with the light that you're surrounded by. This is commonly called the melanopic to photopic ratio, or M to P ratio. To go through an example here, I measured the lights that I have at home. They're standard warm white lights. They have an M to P ratio of about 0.5. So I measured 112 lux, and this is something that you can do with your cell phone or whatever. You can take charge of this and go and make measurements of your environment today. You may struggle a bit with the M to P ratio. Some manufacturers write it on the box, but not a whole lot at this point. So with that 112, I get 56 melanopic lux. If we think back to those thresholds, that is not bright enough for daytime, and it is not dim enough for nighttime. So my home is a classic example of an indoor environment that is just stuck in this perpetual twilight. Is there something that I can do that is better than just having 5 times more light bulbs in my house? Well, yes, there is. Spectral engineering. So today it is possible through digital light to create spectra that have different M to P ratios. We can have a light that looks exactly the same as the ones we're used to and that we like today, but that give us far more light. So I can use this to adjust my home environment to be a daytime appropriate environment, and then I can also remove blue light from my spectra and have nighttime appropriate spectra. There's one piece of this that we haven't thought about. Most of us spend a lot of time staring at screens, whether we're talking about our laptops, our TVs, our cell phones, or whatever else we use on a day-to-day basis. A lot of studies are coming out now finding that people are spending over half of their waking time looking into a screen. So we cannot ignore screens as something that is impacting our SCN and delivering light to us. Screens, similarly, can be spectrally engineered to be appropriate. You've probably seen attempts at this as a night shift on your phone. There is more available that we can do. We can apply spectral engineering, and we can make blue-free and blue-rich screens for daytime and nighttime use. So to wrap this up, light is extremely powerful. It is more than something that allows us to see. It is something that it actually sets our body clock. It coordinates the rhythms within us, and it makes sure that things happen in the correct order. this order piece is extremely important. If you think about, just to take an example, like when you go home, if you try to go into your house and you open the door before you've unlocked it, it doesn't work. This is the essence of circadian disruption. We're trying to go through this biochemical dance all day long where things are happening, certain enzymes are being produced at certain times, or they're not. And this all really matters. And when things happen at the wrong time, you don't get the expected result. Soon, I think that you will be having conversations with your doctor where not only are they asking you whether you're getting the right food or whether you're getting enough exercise, they will ask you about your light diet. Light will be up there, or bad light will be up there with junk food and secondhand smoke. Thank you.